How's everybody doing today? Good? Let me ask again. How's everybody doing today? All right, that's what I like to hear. We got a superstar studded show today.
So we decided we wanted to have an opportunity to curate a very intimate conversation, and this is our first ever DIB diversity panel and conversation series.
You all are making history tonight. Can we get a round of applause? Making history, inaugural event. That's awesome. That's awesome. And we wanted to keep it intimate, so feel free to ask questions, listen, take notes. It should be a great night. And so right now I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Solomon Williams, who's going to be our host tonight. Mr. Solomon.
Without further ado, I'm going to introduce all of our panelists. We have Paula Buckhalter, Brad Holmes, Ward Manuel, Lomas Brown, and Darren Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be up here at this distinguished panel, and we're going to kick it off and get it started. So, Paula, ladies first. How did you get to where you are today?
I grew up just up the road in Pontiac, Michigan, and I loved sports, but I never saw women working in sports. And I said, man, you know what, Dad, I'm going to write a letter to the Lions, and I'm just going to see next time I come home for a break if somebody would just talk to me and let me know the careers that take place in that building. And there was a guy there, Tim Pendell, y'all all know, wonderful gentleman, who read my letter. He actually read it. I came in, and he's like, here, let me walk you around and tell you all about this. And he said, hey, thanks for coming out. And then about a month later, when I sent a thank you note, he said, we're going to start our first ever internship program, and we'd like to invite you and another guy to be our first ever interns. And that's really how my career got started.
When I first was trying to get into the business of, scouting in the NFL and all that, I was told no. I got an opportunity to be an intern for the Atlanta Hawks. And so my boss at the time, a guy named Arthur Trish, he introduced me to the PR director with the Rams at the time. And I eventually got a PR internship, met a guy named Wilbur Montgomery, who was the running backs coach at the time. He noticed that I just got done playing college football, and he introduced me to the general manager. And he gave me an internship to be in scouting right after my PR internship ended in the season. So start off as a scouting intern and just work my way up from there.
What is the best advice someone gave you along the way?
I think the best advice I got was just to be yourself. Be yourself, be genuine to yourself. I always like to tell young kids when I meet them, I tell them, man, set your goals so high. Set them up. I mean, set the highest goals you can and go for it. Because even if you don't reach that high goal, you're going to be up there. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be up there. But the thing you have to do is just stay true to yourself, stay true to your makeup or who you are. And I think that's going to get you a long way in life.
You have to surround yourself with people who are going to help you write your success story. And here's the other key to that. The key to that is surround yourself with people who are going to tell you when you're wrong and what you need to do to get better.
Be your best in your role. When I was at Enterprise renting cars and washing cars, I wanted to be the best at doing that. That wasn't my passion to do. But when I got into the sports arena, when I was a scouting intern, it wasn't about writing reports and looking at film. No, I wanted to get the general manager's coffee the fastest than anybody else did. I wanted to enter his direct reports the faster than anybody. I wanted to make the best profile tapes. I didn't care about what the next step was. I just was worried about, can I be the best in my role at that time?
A lot of my mentors have taught me and told me to lead with integrity. And really it didn't even start with mentors. It started with my mom and dad in our home. And it's easy sometimes to just, if I just do this, who's going to know? But you know that you cheated. And at the end of the day, when I look in the mirror, or when I think about all the folks who went before me, my grandparents who made a lot of sacrifices, my parents, a lot of us in here are descendants of of slaves and immigrants. Like, I don't want to cheat and let those folks down. I don't want to let myself down, but I think about how this could mess it up for the next person if I cheat.
Right now, we're gonna go into our Q&A.
How is it being in your positions as a person of color? I know there's like certain like adversities, barriers you have to, pull down. So like, what are your personal experiences with that, and how do you, navigate that through like being a Black professional?
Like, some of it you have to just figure out. You know what I mean? Like, there's no book that tells you how to be successful in sports. Finding my true north and leading with integrity, and again, being very mindful of the fact that there were a lot of people who sacrificed a whole lot so that I could be here and even have the troubles that I've had. Like, I wasn't no slave. That's hard. You know what I mean? I didn't have to sit in the back of a bus. That's hard. I get to do this, so I'm gonna figure this out.
You all have spoken about the importance of internships, being consistent and things of that nature, but in more depth, what a competitive career as sports is, how have you all been persistent?
Let your passion drive you. First, make sure your house is in order, because what you can't control is you can control being on time all the time. You can control with turning your work in all the time. You can control with turning quality work, being all those things I was talking about being your best. But man, if you're passionate, man, keep on. And it's gonna take longer. It's gonna take, I had to take the long road. If you're passionate and you know what you wanna do, man, keep that passion.
Thank you all so much for being on the panel and sharing with the group this evening. I guess my one question, as you talked about all of your experiences, what has been your singular non-negotiable in any of your experiences professionally that maybe the group can benefit from?
Doing things that you feel are right. And when you get challenged to do something against what you believe in, it's imperative that you fight back. You explain and get people to understand how you see something without giving up your personal integrity for something.
It's taking shortcuts. And, in the game of football, especially during the off season, it's easy to do that. It's easy to take the easy way out. Or I ain't gonna run this last sprint. Or I'm not gonna lift the weights today. I'm gonna skip weights today. To me, you can't take shortcuts. If you're trying to get to where you got to go at, you got to put the work in. You have to do it. I mean, you have to if you want to be successful, if you want to learn and gain as much as you can, you got to put the work in. And that's when people are watching you, but especially when they're not watching you.
You never know who is watching, how you're working when people are watching, when people are not watching, but you never know who is watching. So always just do your best.
We've talked a lot about opportunity, and Paula, you mentioned that you could be working so hard, but the person next to you could have a connection. So I just want to ask, how do you think you can make opportunity for yourself?
Well, just keep controlling what you can control and do your best. I'll tell you a quick story is that when I first got with the Rams, I got that scouting internship. There was 3 other interns already, and they didn't look like me either. I didn't have a connection. I didn't have any. And so I knew, I was like, well, I have to be better than them. And I can't have any faults. I can't be late on my stuff. I can't do this. And so I'll just say, just control what you can control, and you'll be okay. I always talk about this don't worry about bucket. When people talk about you, it's like I'm not worried about that person. And I always say it starts with your attitude. If you have a consistent attitude and a good attitude and a positive attitude and a right attitude. Also, are you consistent? Are you a consistent performer? Are you reliable? Are you dependable? If you're those things, opportunities will come, for sure.
There's going to be a lot of people around you in your career, in your life, who presumably have a step up in some way, shape, or form. It's just the way the world works, because it's the way our mind works. We look at other people and we go, oh, Lomas is more handsome than me, and he played professionally. All these great things that Lomas has, and you can say, well, that's gonna give him an advantage over me. Well, you in other words, you're succumbing to the people around you and not letting your talent rise. Control the controllables. You cannot control what other people are doing. You can't control what other people are saying. My work is going to speak for itself, like Brad said. My work is going to speak for myself, and who I am is going to speak so loudly that other people around me and all the stuff they have can't be heard. Control what you can and let the other stuff go.
Ditto.
All right, round of applause to the panel, y'all. Thank you. So as a thank you for your time, your commitment, just the vision, the wisdom, we have some gifts for you all, some tokens of appreciation. So thank you so much. We look forward to doing this in the future. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Have a good one.